Raise. 375.
In this episode of Weekly Poker Hand, we're going to go through 2 hands that I played heads up against Alex Foxen in the $10,000 buy-in PokerGO Cup tournament, where I won this PokerGO Cup. Spoiler alert, we won. That's good. Alex Foxen is one of the best poker players in the world. Good, strong, battling opponent. So, knowing that, what should I, Jonathan Little, do? Well, I should play as close to GTO as I possibly can, because I don't know what he's going to do wrong. In this hand, he raises it up with King 9 of clubs, so 2.5 big blinds off the 27 big blind stack. You may ask, is that the right play? Well, we have some screenshots from the poker coaching app. You can see that King 9 suited sometimes raises, sometimes limps, which is perfectly reasonable. You may be surprised to see that you're playing every single hand, heads up. You may ask, why are we playing every single hand? Well, we are playing with a big blind ante, which is a very different structure compared to if there is not a big blind ante, because when there's a big blind ante, the small blind has to put in 0.5 big blinds to try to win 3. So they're getting amazing pot odds, plus the small blind is also the button, so they have position. So you have to play 100% of hands, or very, very close to 100% of hands, in all scenarios when you are playing heads up with a big blind ante. So you're gonna have to use relatively mixed strategies where you're raising with a lot of the best hands, plus some hands that are, okay. Alex Foxen does it with a King 9 suited. Let's see how I respond.
2 big hands here in heads-up play. Foxen, King 9 of clubs, raises, and Little just comes over the top. Donnie, a real decision here for Foxen.
I wake up with the magical ace-queen offsuit in the big blind, 27 big blinds deep. Again, I'm just trying to play good, strong GTO poker. I do not know what Alex is doing. I presume he's trying to play good, strong GTO poker as well, although maybe he's trying to exploit me. Who knows? That said, if he knows that I'm just trying to do what the chart says, his only reasonable response is to also do what the chart says. So anyway, as you can see in this chart, we're going to be going all in with pocket 8s and lower, pretty much every ace X offsuit, king queen offsuit, a few king X and queen X junkers, and ace 9 and ace 8 suited some portion of the time. Now look, I don't have this chart perfectly memorized. I'm doing my best. I'm kind of winging it. That said, I have studied these charts diligently, which are in the poker coaching app. Make sure you check it out. And I'm going to be ripping it in with the ace queen offsuit pretty much every time in this scenario, and I don't think there's any other great option.
Or is 27 bigs a little bit too much here?
Before I reveal what Alex should call with from a GTO point of view, I want you to let me know what you think the weakest few hands that Alex should call this 27 big blind all in with are. Take a second, think about it. Let me know in the comment section below. And while you're down there, please click the like and subscribe button if you are enjoying this content.
I think it's closer than you might expect here. I think he's probably going to lean fold in this spot. He does, yeah.
Background to Alex, he makes the fold with the King 9 suited. Seems like the commentators think that that's probably okay, that it's on the cusp. But, as we see here, King 9 suited should actually call my 27 big blind all in 100% of the time, assuming I am playing good, strong GTO poker. Now, maybe he thinks I am, maybe he thinks I'm not. But if you think your opponent is shoving at the GTO frequency, or perhaps even a little bit more, and spoiler alert, I actually shove a little bit more, then King 9 suited just becomes a pretty easy call. We see in this chart that Queen 9 suited and Jack 9 suited mix calling. Notice ace 6 offsuit, ace 5 suited call every time. King Jack offsuit calls about half the time, but King 9 suited is very clearly 100% call. So when would you want to fold the King 9 suited? Well, you'd want to fold the King 9 suited if you think your opponent's not going to go all in quite enough, but I just told you I probably am. You'd also want to fold the King 9 suited if you think you have a big post-flop advantage over your opponent, which, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. It's tough to know because we had played no heads up before this. That said, if you find yourself in a spot like this where you're consistently folding out hands that are on the cusp of playability that are still 100% calls, like ace 5 suited, ace 8 suited, King 9 suited, ace 6 offsuit, etc., if you're folding out hands like that every time, you're just going to get ran over. And if you fold out a whole lot more hands, like small pairs, Queen 10 suited, Ace Jack offsuit, stuff like that, then you're gonna get absolutely demolished. So I ripped it in. He folded. I win the pot. Let's go to the next hand.
Seeing some players in the chat naming all the correct ones.
10 seconds.
After quite a while, we find ourselves in a situation where Foxen has, I think, 12 big blinds after he puts in the big blind ante. Could be wrong about that. Maybe it's 13. That said, I'm going to be looking at a 10 big blind chart in this scenario. If anything, I shove a little bit more often when I am playing 12 big blinds deep compared to what GTO recommends because I don't think people call quite often enough. So I'm going to be using something like a 10 big blind strategy in this scenario. As you see, hands like King 10 offsuit, shove every time. If the stacks were a little bit deeper, you would not shove the King 10 offsuit and you would instead limp it. So look, limping is perfectly viable in this spot. Notice again, we're playing almost 100% of hands. We are only folding the absolute worst hands like 8-2 offsuit, 4-3 offsuit, 3-2 offsuit, etc. If I was to adjust this chart in some way, I would probably just shove a few more medium-ish suited connected type hands because those don't mind when your opponents fold. But look, we're doing a lot of all ends in the spot, 42-ish%, and that puts Foxen in a tough spot. Let's see what he does against the all in.
Little again with the shove, King 10 off, Foxen with King high. Perhaps this will tempt him to make the call for his tournament life. King high is respectable. 13 bigs, and Foxen makes the call. Jonathan Little is going to love to see this.
Oh, no.
He finds the King 2 offsuit, which, against a roughly 10 big blind shoving strategy, is a call. A lot of people may be surprised to see this as a call because King 2 is going to be dominated a lot of the time. However, if your opponent's shoving all sorts of medium strength stuff and offsuit marginal hands, King 2 is perfectly fine. And at this point, it probably became pretty clear to Alex that I was shoving a decent amount of the time. And to be fair, in our heads up match, I did shove a few logical shoving hands in a row. I had a few ace-x offsuits that were just easy all ends. So he recognizes this. If anything, he probably thinks I'm shoving too wide. So if anything, he should call off wider than this chart recommends. Now, how will you even find wider calls than this? It's pretty hard to do. You can call with like Queen 3 offsuit, 9-8 offsuit, Jack 3 suited. But it's hard to call off a whole lot wider than this. That said, I think he made a good call in this scenario, and he just happened to run into it. He ran into my King 10. Let's see if I can win the all-in.
Alex Foxen hates to see it.
Yeah, he would much rather be up against Ace Queen, of
Hope
course.
some of Jesse's deuces are in there.
Little is a
You're in
clean
really bad shape.
run out away
Yeah.
from taking this one down.
After the flop, though, it might be different.
It's going to be like 50-50. You know how it goes.
3, 4, 5, 2 hearts.
Yeah.
Jonathan Little looking to see his
It's about
hand
the only
hold up
50-50
here
flop, I think.
to lock up a big win here at the PokerGO Cup. Here's the flop.
It's not one of
8,
those 50-50s.
6,
Oh,
7.
you can chop sometimes.
Some backdoor chop options, but of course that 10,
it up.
very helpful for Little in that scenario.
Not often either.
No, but
Foxen looking for a
Yeah.
deuce.
Wow.
8 pairs
All
the
right.
board on the turn now with some serious chop outs. A 6 or a 7 would chop it right now. Foxen looking for a deuce to double up. Little wants to avoid all that and just take it down right here and end this tournament on the spot. Can Jonathan Little take it down? Yes, he can.
GG.
Jonathan Little wins event 3
Thank you.
of the
Good luck in the
2024
others. Thanks.
PokerGO Cup as Alex
You've been
Foxen
on
is
fire.
eliminated in second place.
not enough.
Well, pretty close.
Little takes home $229,000 for his win here at the studio.
I win the all-in. I win the trophy. That is good. Study heads up. Because you never know when you're going to find yourself playing heads up for a whole lot of money.